Okay, listener, this is one of those questions I wanted to get to before it got too old, and there's so many comments coming in. I can only do so much. Training partners. Yes, you're right. Aljo and Marab trained together, and that probably made Aljo the champ, right? That's probably what got Aljo to beat Peter Yan in that rematch. I don't know that he was beating Peter Yan in the first match. And I guarantee you it's made Aljo a much better martial artist. But once that pole position shifts, right? Like once one takes over, rarely does the one who's gone behind relap. What's a prime example of that? Daniel Cormier and Cain Velasquez. Daniel actually cut to light heavyweight, right? To avoid having to face his friend and UFC champ Cain Velasquez. I mean, even though Daniel Cormier, he won the Strikeforce heavyweight division championship, and that was when the UFC realized like we have like bad heavyweights. We gotta go buy Strikeforce, and they did, and then they got all those guys in there. And I know something else. Like, look, Cain Velasquez was definitely the steroid time of MMA, right? Obviously, a lot of his abilities came from the various performance enhancing drugs he was on. And I throw no shade at that because everybody else was on the same thing. And John Jones was during that time and all of that. For some people, it makes you fall apart. I know Jake Shields had a really hard time once that era ended. Gilbert Melendez, in the middle. Like Gilbert I think he was using that rub-on testosterone, but I don't think he was using much else. Actually, I have no idea, so who knows? But either way, I guess the point about training partners is having good training partners helps, right? There's the AKA team, right? Luke Rockhold, Cain Velasquez, and Daniel Cormier going to visit one of their older coaches in the hospital, which is really, really cool and very awesome because that shows the community that AKA built. But listen, training partners are also competitive in their own way with each other. And I'll tell you something about the Scrap Pack that I conspicuously noticed. Gil mainly trained on his own. Jake mainly trained on his own. Nick and Nate Diaz trained maybe with each other, but on their own. Like, they didn't come around that much. So this myth that everybody's in the gym together all day with each other isn't always exactly how it happened. Now, I do know that Cain and Daniel trained together, and it's one of the things Daniel said made him such an awesome competitor. And one of the reasons he said when he fought John Jones and Cain was hurt, I believe, he didn't have his training partner to push him. So he didn't have the kind of cardio and other things he might have had for that John Jones first fight. But yeah, listen, man, training partners can be great. Training partners also can be the death of you. I mean, I know a lot of people, a lot of friends of mine who stayed in camps thought that those people would help them. They never help them, right? You actually become just a sparring partner, and that becomes your career. And you know, as you grow older in the game and you watch this stuff happen, you wish you could help people, but there's nothing you can do. Everybody's got to learn lessons in life on their own. I don't think that wrestling with Marab every day is going to give Aljo a chance to come back, listener. But listen, you guys chopped it up about that. I love that. These things, they segue off into their own life, and you guys had an awesome discussion about that. Everybody, read my book, Warrior of the Light.